What's going on, guys? My name is Furlong, and if you don't know who I am, I like to run, I like to drone, and I like to film. And today, I'm giving you a recap of the 2 Bays trail run. So in case you didn't know, I recently completed this race. It was 28 kilometers, more than 750 meters elevation combined. And leading up to this, I had been doing 5 weeks worth of training. I did more than 15 runs, did a volume of about 130 kilometers, averaging only 5 meters of elevation per run, just to set some context. If you haven't checked out these training videos, if you haven't even checked out the race video, please take some time, pause right now. I'll flash them up on the screen and you can go check them out. Now that I've had able time since the race, I've been able to sit back, really think about and reflect on how the race went, how I felt, how I'm feeling now, and I wanted to share that with you. So just thinking about leading up to the race, like actually race morning, you know, the weather, the day, it was great. Good morning, and it's an absolutely beautiful morning. It was perfect weather. It was only about 17 degrees when we kicked off, and it got to a total of probably 26 at the peak of the race. 15k, averaging 8:15. The sun's out now for sure. So weather-wise, it was perfect. The conditions were great. The atmosphere was awesome as well with all the people. There was really good vibes. Thank you. Thank you. Hey. Funnily enough, I wasn't actually feeling like I was going to do a race, which kind of leads into how was I feeling emotionally, how was I feeling physically and mentally coming into this race of the morning. Now, emotionally, whatever, I wasn't expecting anything. Mentally, I hadn't really set the expectations, and I'll touch on this in a little bit. So mentally, I was feeling pretty good. It didn't really feel like a race. All I wanted to do was get out there and just get the 4 hours cut off. Physically, I was nervous. I'd been struggling with some knee issues leading up to this. There was a bit of pressure, a bit of pain also a couple of days before. So that was probably making me feel a little uneasy, but I knew I was just gonna get out there and give it my best shot. What was my strategy? Well, my main game plan was just to keep moving and grooving. We're nearly at the point where we can start to move and groove again. So that meant running where I could, walking up hills, and then everything in between, and that worked. It really did work, and that was my strategy. Now let's talk about the lessons learned through the race. Now, if you haven't watched the video, I go kilometer by kilometer for the 28 kilometers, actually, reflecting on how I'm progressing, how I'm feeling at each kilometer. Now in there, I always do try to hype it up for the camera a bit, but as I progress, you can definitely see that I'm getting more and more tired, I'm slowing down, and things are getting real. I do talk a bit about my knee as well. So I think lesson number 1 has been things don't go as planned, and the more and more I do races, the more and more this becomes evident. Things don't go as planned, and I was feeling pretty good before the race, thinking I'm gonna get in here, I'm gonna maybe get 3 hours and 30 minutes. That was probably the target in the back of my mind, but also I knew that I just had to put all that away, knowing that I didn't know what to expect. There was going to be a lot of hills, there was going to be a lot of unknowns. Things didn't go as planned, it was by 10 kilometers my knee was starting to flare up, and that kind of threw me off at one point. 11k in, averaging 8:18. My knee is now playing up with pain, but just trying to walk it off, then run, walk it off, run. So I was getting anxious, but I knew nothing's changing. I had to just keep going with it. I had to just keep walking, keep pushing, keep running, as my strategy was to keep moving and grooving, and I'd be okay. But I think managing this pain and also the excitement was all part of the challenge of the day. Not overdoing it, but doing it enough to keep consistent with the timing in order to get to that 4-hour cutoff. Lesson number 2 is fluids and nutrition. Once again, since it's a different kind of run, I've never really done such a long trail run before, but I knew I needed to make sure I had enough water and the right nutrition in place. Now, leading up to the race, all week I'd been carb loading, so that wasn't a problem. I'd been keeping the fluids up as well. For race day, I actually had about 3 liters on me, 500 ml being Tailwind, just a hydration drink, and you know, that worked for me. I didn't start sipping on that till about 10 kilometers in. I didn't want to go into the race requiring that. By the time I was sipping into it, I think that did help for the final 18 kilometers. Now I did have a Cliff Bar with me as well. This one I didn't feel like eating. You know, before the race for breakfast I'd had some toast, some egg, and also half a banana. But once again, I didn't want to overdo it because the conditions and the type of race it was, I didn't want to be uncomfortable. So my main focus here was just getting enough water in me, and then you know, knowing that I've had enough nutrition was fine. I didn't actually eat the Cliff Bar probably till about, must have been 16 kilometers. I didn't eat much of it. I had a little bit. I didn't really have much of an appetite, but I knew it was kind of probably too late to try and refuel for the final 10 kilometers. The water, I was still hashing down. I probably actually only ended up having about 2 liters in total. So whether I had enough, I'm not sure, but I don't think that actually impacted me because I was more focused and more drained by the pain of my knee than the actual physical wear and tear. Now, obviously getting into about 25 kilometers, I had never ran that far before, and getting into those stairs, getting into those hills, and you know, not having done a lot of elevation training, that was starting to take a toll on me. But I don't think that had anything to do with the nutrition or the fluids going into my body. Point number 3 for this run has definitely been having no expectations. I mean, there was some underlying expectations of, you know, there's a 4-hour cutoff, that's all I need to do, expectation to just keep moving, but you know, I wasn't going into this run or race more so to, you know, set amazing goals or to get a PB or to prove a point. It was more so, let's just get out there, let's just have some fun. I knew I was undertrained. I knew that it was going to be a challenge. Now I think at the same time, because of this mentality, it enabled me to push through with my knee a lot easier because I wasn't set on getting a time. I just wanted to make sure I got that 4 hours, so I got the medal. And spoiler alert, if you didn't see the video, I got the 4-hour cutoff and got the medal. Because the last thing you want to do is go through that run for 4 hours and not get the medal. But you know, if I actually look back through the footage, you know, there wasn't many other things that I think I could have done better, other than doing more intense elevation training leading up to it, probably a longer training plan. But I think that will come over time as well, because I just come off an injury. I haven't been doing a lot of elevation in all my trainings because I was training for flat half marathons. So this is a new challenge for me, and it's definitely something I'll focus on going into 2019. Look, that's the main points I wanted to cover. The race itself, it was amazing. I just want to thank Carla for all the support and the push through as well, because you know, she loves her trail. She's done a marathon before. This was a challenge for her too, but she definitely knew how much it was going to be a challenge for myself, having not really done anything like it, having the knee issues and whatnot. But we got there in the end, and that's all that matters. I won't lie, coming through that finish line, it was emotional. I didn't really capture it all on camera just because I'm not used to having, my parents were at the end of the finish line as well, but there was almost tears, and it was, I think it was because I knew I had pushed through, I'd come so far, but I wonder if because of the knee issue, if I didn't have that, if it was going to be such an intense ending. But that's okay. I've been saying to Carla that now, since we only got 3 hours and 54 minutes, it leaves us plenty of room for a better PB next year. And yes, I'm coming back next year, keen for 2020, still only doing the 28 kilometers, but I'm ready to see what I can do. What I'd like to hear from you is, you know, what are your thoughts? What are your comments? What's your feedback for this video, for this run? If there's any questions you want to know the answers to, like how was I feeling? What about this? Things like that, please do leave a comment below. Let me know, and I'll be more than happy to answer anything. All I want to do is say thank you for all the support, all the encouragement I've had so much from all the other 2Bay runners, and just from my friends and families that are usually watching my content, and of course you, the subscribers. So there we are. That's it from me. Make sure you like, subscribe, comment, do the whole shebang, and hustle.